39 past. Good morning, everybody. Today we get back on track with Do It Yourself Wednesday. We're revisiting the topic of finishing off your basements. This morning, Ashley Kirkland live at Lowe's with a preview of what's coming up. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, Vicki. The last time that we talked about basements, we touched on some general topics about how to finish off your basement and prepping it for finishing the basement. But today we are going to talk about more specific things like putting up some different materials on the walls and ceilings. So at 6:10, we'll join Pro Services Specialist here at Lowe's, and he'll give us the scoop, the what's happening on how to finish off those basements and make them look nice and ready for the spring that we think is here, but we're not quite feeling just yet. But nonetheless, we're going to get our basements prepared for spring. We'll be back a little bit later with that. Ashley Kirkland reporting live at Lowe's in Marquette, TV6 News.
All right, and that is welcome news, especially this time of the year with the snow melt, to make sure that our basements are ready for it. So thank you much, Ashley. This will be a good one. It's 10 after the hour. Basements today on Do It Yourself. You know, earlier this month we talked to the pros at Lowe's and touched on how to fix up your basement. They can range anywhere from scary like mine to really nice. Today we're going to get more specific about the different materials used for walls and ceilings and basements. Ashley Kirkland joins us again at Lowe's in Marquette. So what do you got for us today, Ashley?
Good morning, guys. The pros at Lowe's, Vicki. That kind of rhymed. I like that. That's almost like a rap. Try to use that next time. But finishing your basement can seem like a never-ending project, but there is light at the end of that tunnel, which is your basement. We are here at Lowe's in Marquette Township. We're back with Jeremy Wright, Pro Services Specialist. He's going to talk to us about putting up those walls. Jeremy, good morning. Welcome back. Now, say I am on a budget, a tight budget. Times are hard. How can I finish off my walls and make them look nice?
One way would be just using drywall. Drywall is a very inexpensive product. However, it's going to require some time and some finesse just because of having to sand down all your mud and all the joints where you're putting it together. That's where you're going to put tape and mud. You know, a lot of that material doesn't cost very much, but it's very dusty, and it's going to take, you know, you got to put 3 coats of mud. You got to let the mud dry. You got to go back and sand it. And what I've been told many times, and myself, it's true, is sometimes when you're sanding your drywall, you just want to walk away from it and let it be, because if you sand it down too much, you're going to end up starting all over and having to do the 3 coats again.
Okay. And so once you sand it down, can you slap a coat of paint over it? What do you do next?
No, the next thing you want to do is going to put a coat of primer on it, and then you're going to want to paint it, because if you just go straight to the paint, all the drywall, it's just going to suck in all that paint, and so you're going to end up putting, you know, maybe 2-3 coats of paint versus that 1 to 2 coats, depending on what paint you buy.
And I don't know much about drywall, but what kind of adhesive are we going to use to get this to stay up?
You can use, there's a drywall glue, or there's other glues that can be used on drywalls. There's some that can't, so you're going to want to make sure you read the label. And then you just screw it to the studs that we were talking about putting up last time. So once you put the screws on, and then you're all set with it.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. And so let's increase the budget here. We have a little bit more money to work with. What can we do with a little bit more cash in the bank?
A common thing used up here is tongue and groove, whether it's pine or cedar. Again, price point wise, you know, cedar, as you get into different woods besides pine, they become very expensive. You can also order this pre-finished, and this is actually a wainscoting that you would only put on the lower half, so kind of have that wood on the lower half, and then maybe you'd have drywall on the upper half, or paneling, or different materials is an option. But all you have to do is you end up nailing it through the tongue part, and then slide the next one over, nail it, and you continue on. So it goes up very quick, pretty easy. You know, if you get it pre-finished, not much work to do in the end other than all the trim work that you're going to have to do with drywall or this. So.
Okay. And how can you determine how many of these you're going to need to finish off your basement?
It's all based on square footage. So it's measuring your height and your length and then multiplying them together to get your square footage. And then if you get it in a package, checking that out. Otherwise, they come in, you can get it in 6 inches or you can get it in 8 inches, and then just doing your math.
And lastly, is this wood that can be stained, or does it just stay this color?
Nope, it can be stained, and then you're going to want to varnish it to protect it.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. We got the walls up. Now we just got to get the ceilings together. So we'll be back with more of that a little bit later in the show. Back to you, Vicki. Ashley Kirkland reporting live in Marquette Township, TV6 News.
All right, thank you very much,
Continues
Ashley.
to
And I'll
slowly
tell you
bloom.
what,
There's still time to improve your basement for some rocking summer parties. Ashley Kirkland is live at Lowe's for today's do-it-yourself topic. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning, Sam. That's right. If you're going to have those rocking basement parties, you got to spruce up that basement this spring. And so right now we're at Lowe's here in Marquette Township talking to Jeremy Wright, and he's talking to us about the walls and ceilings for your basement. Now, Jeremy, we need to clear up something we said that you said in the last segment. I didn't say it. What do we need to clear up for viewers?
The big thing is making sure you kind of start with your ceiling. So that way, because normally you want to start with your ceiling. For drywall in particular, you want to put your drywall ceiling up, and then you're going to take the wall drywall and push it up against the ceiling, just another way to help it so it doesn't sag and things like that.
Okay.
So with that, another product you can put on your ceiling is you can put on drywall. You know, very inexpensive. The problem with drywall is in your basement, normally you need access to potential mechanicals, so like your heating, duct working or things like that if anything has to be worked on. Same with any plumbing. If there is a potential leak or things like that, if you put drywall up, you know, you're going to end up having to cut that drywall out, patch it back in, also any electrical. So that's something to consider. Something that you can put up is your drop ceiling, which, you know, it may look kind of commercially. It's commonly used. One way to class it up, I saw a friend do this, is instead of using the normal white tiles, he took plywood and he stained it, and then he took 1x2s and made the grids out of that, so that way it just had a nice wood look to it. So that's something he could do.
And I know people are always looking for more height in their homes and basements. With the drop ceiling, how low do you have to drop it? Is there a specific level that you have to drop it to?
No, you can push it right up to your joist. The problem is when you do that, is then it's hard to get the tiles in and out. So you end up fighting them. You might break them in the process. So that's why you always kind of want to drop it, you know, 4 or 6 inches or things like that, where the drywall, you can put it right up to it. So.
And what kinds of materials do we need for the drop ceiling?
Basically, you're going to need these brackets. They come in 2 foot and 4 foot, depending on what size of tile you're going to put on. The other thing you could do that would change it is some people have come in and looked at putting metal roofing up on their ceiling as just to give a different look. So that is another option.
Okay. And we did miss a wall option that we had over here. What is that, the walling for people to know about?
The last one would be just paneling. So there's different styles of paneling. It's something that you can just kind of glue up and use small finish nails to tack up. So it's another inexpensive way, comes, you know, a nice finished look. So it's another option, and there's many different designs.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy, for this series on helping us get our basements together for the summer and just in general. And we'll be back with you in a couple of weeks, so we'll see you later. And that does it for your Do It Yourself Wednesday today. Your TV6 Morning Show will be right back.